for the 10 o'clock hour. But let me throw it out to you guys. Hopefully we are a go on the YouTube. Not seeing it yet.
The next time in the offensive end. Halford up ahead for Leifer. Leifer open for it. Throws the alley for Terrell. Oh my goodness!
Rabbi, the Chief Rabbi of New York, and Rabbi Lamb together. What's going on, guys? What's the good word? Anybody? I try to remember. I don't know that you guys were either Ariel or Moshe. Were you at the Saturday night game?
I was not. I was home.
I don't want to call you out. I don't want to call you guys out.
We were not at the big not Brooklyn. That's whatever they're called. Motor City versus
Long Island.
Yeah. I couldn't make it. I'm hoping I had to try to save my Saturday night. Hopefully this next alumni night, hopefully I'll try to make it. Fingers crossed. We'll see what happens at work. But it looked really amazing. Just like from the TV, I was able to watch it on the S app, which was nice because I don't have ESPN Plus, so that was nice. But just watching it looked like it was like a Chalamoid, at Six Flags. There's so many from people, so many yarmulkes there. It was a really nice scene, and Ryan, he played well in the minutes he got, and it was really nice to see everyone show out, to support, our guy, and it was really great to have that.
Yeah, by the way, it's watching one of those, here again, for those of you who missed the start, and we had some little technical difficulties, but here again, with Ariel and with Moshe, we're going to be rocking a little bit Balabata, maybe have some other guests come on later. Chief Rabbi of New York, for those of you, Hamaven Yavin. And then we also going to celebrate YU women's basketball tonight. We're really excited to have a conversation with what we hope is the playoff-bound women's basketball team.
First time ever.
First time ever. I wanted to verify that. Do we know that? Do we know that for a fact? I know. Listen, I know we've jumped conference to conference in the men's side.
I guess we could ask them, but I'm pretty sure. Yes,
I think
we could ask
them. First time ever in Skyline, from what I understand, but I could be wrong.
So Skyline, I think, is for sure. I was wondering if there was any history, when we write the books and they were playing in local gyms and all these things you hear about when the Max first started up. But Moshe, what were your impressions? I mean, I don't know if anybody got to watch, because you probably stayed home. You got to probably watch the old Westbury game too. In addition to the, remember correctly, I was sitting there and I was like, "All right, guys, if we race, we can catch the second half of the old Westbury." But,
Elliot did not call the timeouts that you requested. That's Bashita. He did not call. Against and all his principles, he cannot.
He did laugh. He did laugh at my comment on Twitter, so I figured it wasn't coming. Moshe, what was your experience this past Saturday night?
Oh, it looked great. I was watching you guys. I was trying to keep an eye on the YU game, but also you guys. I want to say you guys were able to see each other and hang out and take a group picture. But YU was putting on a little show of their own, which was nice.
Good.
And
the Oren Batesh show, right? Something like that Saturday night.
That was the Oren Batesh show. Yeah,
a little something. Yeah, he was on fire on his way to leading D3. I hope it's 10
first half. I think at some point we were walking, we're like, oh my God, he's like 11 for 11 as we started. I think he started in the second half with a three ball.
I think the only miss, he missed one where they called it off and he shot after the whistle, and then the last shot he missed. He missed. So he was really impressive, but that's the beauty of the Max. Any night, it could be Zevi, it could be Max Akheim, it could be, Oren. You have three guys who could go for 4 guys who go for 20 plus, and then you got Batesh, then you got Roy and other guys, Effie. It's just a different right now they're clicking. It's February. You're talking about it in January the first there. It's February now, and they're playing really well. I think a lot of guys stepping up, and you saw it tonight. Not in the first 10 minutes. They only scored 8 points, but they kicked it into gear and they dominated the second half. That's 2 straight games now with 54 points in the second half, which is really impressive, and exciting things are happening.
One of these nights, Roy's going to get 20, going to get 25. He has the potential, absolutely. And he's definitely getting there.
Yeah, I
And
want
the freshman,
I want to say when they actually get the offense, meaning when they're his value goes up if the offense is running well, meaning if the motion is actually running well. I think that's where you start to see Roy, with his ability. I completely agree. I think when we settle and sort of work it around and get some nice three balls at the end of the clock, which we saw a few of tonight from Max and Zevi, that's less the Roy time.
no, but also on defense, he's been really helpful. Doesn't Things don't show up in the box score, but he's really hustling, and he's really biting up their guys
He
and
took
like getting
Tabata,
to
I think,
loose
for most of
ball.
the game, right?
He took Tabata or Allen, yeah. Like Allen, I think he was taking more in the first half, and Allen didn't score any, like unless except it was transition buckets in the first half. And then he switched to Tabata, and also Tabata, like you stopped hearing about him, in the second half. He's really impressive. He could guard he also guard what's his name, the big guy,
Malloy.
Malloy. He guarded him a little bit. He took him. He could guard anyone pretty much 1 through 5. Or 2 through whatever it
And
is.
he gives up height. He's not a huge guy. He gives up height, but he
Yeah,
makes up.
no, he's
Guys,
really athletic, and
we have a special guest here that's coming on. Are you guys ready?
Are you psyched?
oh, here
Wow,
he
man, the
is.
myth, the legend.
Wow. I feel like it's 2022, 2021 all over again. This is amazing. This is amazing.
So
I
we
know
we don't have Ari here to
Ari might be joining us in a little bit. He had something come up, but this is incredible. And right after what looks like a nice win, I think you're muted. I think I gotta unmute you.
He's muted,
Let's see
but
how that works. I think you can unmute yourself, but we want to make sure.
There we go. Is that
There
good?
we go. Perfect.
There we go.
excellent.
The one
Yeah,
who taught us the thesis of Lambesis and the merits of Laretz, and the chief rabbi
out
of New York
theory.
City. Okay, I'm sorry, it's not Ari, but thank you. Welcome, Bob. It's so nice to see you.
Thanks for having me, guys. Yeah. I've been looking forward to chatting with you and coming right off a Titan game, a little win at Milliken. So that was one they had to have, and good to talk to you guys.
I'll be honest. It's like and maybe this is just from our perspective. We feel like we're much more into like the Skyline this year because of where we are as a team and where the focus and the goals are, and so been following you, Ryan, Dave, and everybody for more of the overall looks, even though it feels like the competition is so much more even in the sort of from like 3 to 40, right? In terms of the teams this year. Is that what I know you experience it both ways. Obviously the Titans are playing well, and obviously with a win in Whedon that maybe should have happened, that we watched almost all of that game. Still can't believe it, but it may be a different story. But for the most part, we're both experiencing a little bit of like, rebuilding within the year. How has the season been a little bit different in that respect for you?
Yeah, for Illinois Wesleyan in particular, it's been a tough season. It's been a grind from the get-go. Right out of the gates, we played you guys, and we escape the shirk with that one. Then the next night we lose to Stevens Point. And it's hard to try to figure out a new rotation and a new team when you're playing the number one schedule in the country. I think that was in retrospect, a little easier schedule early would have helped this group. Instead, they're playing St. Joe of Connecticut, now the number one team, and Oshkosh. And it was just like one after another. And the story of the season for the Titans, as I see it, is they missed Luke Yoder, their point guard that they were counting on having, surprisingly left for Division I. He's playing at North Dakota State. He started against Kansas this year. And they weren't counting on that. They didn't recruit to have a stud point guard ready to go. They had Lucas Heflin as a backup ready to go. And it's really made a difference. Like the ball just hasn't moved the way it needs to this season. I give the guys credit though. They've played hard, and nationally this season's been awesome. I mean, it's been a great season of Division III basketball. It really has.
Yeah, teams have been. I mean, Ariel, we've been talking almost every night, right, about like some of these teams. It's kind of hard to figure out like who to go with. Really high on NYU to start the year, obviously, because I know we played them and got shellacked. And then you see like what it's actually like in that conference. and then seeing Wash U really rise to the occasion, and some of the other schools.
Yeah, it's been really exciting to watch. And IW, yeah, I've been watching a lot of their games, not as much as YU, but a lot of their games because and yeah, like they're really close and they're struggling towards the end of the game. I think they really miss Nick Roper. That's been tough for them since he's been out. Yeah, it's been, and just in general, D3 has been really exciting. It's it's been hard to pick who's that team because even St. Joe's, Connecticut, I think they're beatable. Like anyone, like I think we almost beat them. Like we not almost beat them, but we were hanging in there against them without Zakheim in the first game of the season. So yeah, so it's like it's been really deep this year and really exciting to watch.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of parity. That's the word we keep using. I use examples of like, I think the top 4 seeds currently in the tournament, I think 2 of them are St. Joe of Connecticut and Wash U, and then you got Randolph-Macon probably in Middlebury. 2 of those 4 are struggling Titans have played. St. Joe, we went to overtime against. We were up 5 with 3 minutes to go and found a way to lose that one. And then Wash U, we lost on a buzzer beater. Wheaton, we had a game at their place that we easily could have won. We won't go into that one. So it's like, I guess what I would say is it's a year where a struggling team like the Titans that are just trying to get in the CCIW tournament have been able to play the top of the country really tough. You mentioned you guys played St. Joe really well. I remember that game was really early. I remember watching it. So it's a year where if you feel like you could get in the tournament, I feel like if Illinois Wesleyan could get in the NCAA tournament somehow, like grind their way in,
anything could happen. Yeah,
sure, anything could happen. Yeah, you could win a couple games, and all of a sudden you're in a sectional. Like, what the heck's going on here? So. Right. Everyone just wants to get in because it's a fun year to be in.
Right. Even Randolph-Macon tonight, they escaped the close. They scored with like 1 second left from a tie game.
Second close one in the last a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, so they're fantastic, but they're
really good.
I tell you what, they're not what they were last year.
They're not last year.
They are incredible, but there's separation between where they were last year. They may win it and they may not lose another game, but without their stud point guard Buzz Anthony, they're just not quite where they were a year ago, and they're beatable when they get in that tournament. Last year, it turns out they weren't beatable. No one was going to touch them. This year, I mean, it's just going to be a great tournament.
Bob, quick question.
Go ahead, Moshe.
Bob, quick question. Are all your guys healthy now? I know IW had some health concerns earlier, and in that same vein, was it considered a rebuilding year? And if so, even more so, like a pleasant surprise, meaning that they're doing this well considering.
Well, our the big injury that since November 30th, we have a 6'8" guard named Nick Roper, and coming into the year, my optimism about this year and the thought of maybe we can win the CCIW or contend, my optimism was heavily around Nick Roper. I think Nick Roper will be a really good player. And he's a unique player, right? A 6'8", kind of a 3-man, very quick. He's athletic. He can jump out of the gym. He has not played since the first minute of a game on November 30th, and he's done. He's done for the year. He has not been able to come back from an ankle. The Titans they've kind of muddled through. They've kind of muddled through the year. It's been a rough year. The win tonight was big. It's been a disappointing year. I thought they absolutely could have contended in the CCIW this year. If you look at just the way they've played at the end of games, the last 5 minutes of games, they have found a way to really shoot themselves in the foot a lot of times, starting early. You could almost, if you trace it back, against Yeshiva, there was things that we did in the final minutes against then Stevens Point the next night. So we're not a perfect team like we were last year. I thought last year we had all the pieces and we're a perfect team. This year, it's kind of like to win. It's a grind. So it's just been that kind of season.
Same time, you guys don't. You had Wheaton, for all intents and purposes, you beat them in our book. But but like if they get there into the CCIW, like they definitely have a shot, no question.
I think if they just get in the conference tournament, you never know where the seedings are going to play. The 1 and 2 get a bye, and So, 3 and 6 play and 4 and 5 play. And if you look at the matchups, I think they do okay versus all the teams that would be in that mix. And then you get yourself to that second weekend. And again, if you're playing, let's say you get there and you have to play Wheaton, they played them well there, obviously. So, it's still probably a long shot. They haven't played consistently all year long. And I'm not foolish enough to think that they're going to breeze through the CCIW tournament, but I hope they get a chance to get there because I do think that they can cause a lot of problems for every
No
team that they
question.
play. Yeah.
Are we in the period where like the fifth year, right? We talked about a lot last year, right? A lot of people being able to stay the extra year, and that's a year that obviously players even today can continue to extend. Has that really been a factor at all this year? Is it more
Huge.
sort of the impact rookies, or it's sort of like is there something that's driving the parity this season in terms of that makeup?
It's the fifth year is really significant. Last year it was enormous. If you think about, like I think I did a study one time of like rosters. I think we were the only team in that final 16 or Elite Eight that didn't have any fifth year guys. When you look at all the other teams, and again, more power to them. I'm all for the kids getting that year that they were cheated from COVID, but it's a big factor. So you look at like this year, Wheaton has Tyson Cruikshank, fifth year, and they were able to bring in a fifth year grad student from Claremont Mudd Scripps, TJ Askew, because they have a grad program.
And I was about to say that. Don't you have in the school have to have grad program able to do that?
You don't have to, but what else? Yeah, I mean, like look at
Right.
Matt Larrett's left for Division II because he has nothing left to do at Illinois Wesleyan. I mean, what's he going to do? Just take random classes. So like Lambesis and Larrett's left for Division II, and Luke Yoder left because he could go play 2 years at Division I. Right? If he left as a junior, he can play 2 years there, which totally get that. That's going to keep happening for 2 more seasons. So like I've heard all the Elmhurst players are going to come back next year. Wesley Hooker, Ocean Johnson, maybe Zapinski. Look around the country, and for 2 more years, you're going to have that. And I'm happy for all the kids that are getting to do that. It's a big factor as we look at who's good and kind of who's not.
And you look at
it's going to stunt the growth of any of the meaning freshmen or sophomores
Sure.
who maybe won't get as much time. And then when that period ends, they only have, right? They don't get an extra year in terms of anybody who's coming in the past 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, let's just take Wheaton as one example. I mean, Tyson Cruikshank probably plays 35 minutes a game, and there's some kid that was recruited that's sitting on the bench behind him. So the COVID dominoes have fallen in all kinds of strange ways, and there's been a group of kids that's kind of getting squeezed at the end of this, right? It was the guys that were in high school during the COVID season that are sort of paying the price for all this, if you really look at it. But it's a very big factor right now because the teams that, it's common sense. Think about it. I mean, would you like to have a guy that's been there 5 years, that's 23 years old, that's bigger, stronger, more experienced? Of course, we all would. And I wish that Illinois Wesleyan had Matt Larrett's and Pete Lambesis this year. Like we'd be really good, so it's going to continue to be a factor.
Yeah, and you see it also, and then it has an effect also on the transfer portal. You're seeing teams like North Park, they're getting a lot of guys. I think part of the craziness of the transfer portal the last couple of years has been because of COVID. You get the extra year.
Absolutely.
Things happen. It has a whole domino effect from Division I all the way to where high school recruits are able to go. So it's been pretty wild.
Yeah, the portal is its own kind of animal too. That started before COVID, but then that plus COVID turned really crazy.
Right.
And schools should take advantage of that. I had North Park's coach on the QCast, Sean Smith, a while ago, and he said, of course we're gonna leverage the transfer portal. There's good guys looking for good places to go to school and play basketball. So I credit everyone that's able to use it. I know that Illinois Wesleyan is looking around in there to see if anything makes sense. It's probably not going to. They're in a pretty good spot with their personnel, I think. But schools are going to continue to leverage the transfer portal.
We're seeing YU with Max Zockheim, who's been, better than I knew he was going to be good, but he's been, really excellent. And he's also he has a lot of eligibility left also. So we'll see how much how long he's able to stay for. But yeah, it's definitely had a big impact.
And
Absolutely.
you did mention the QCast. We want to make sure, like, while we want people to like and subscribe, can you share? Just let the people know again. I think people are familiar, but if you really, I mean, I'm still, they're fantastic interviews, and you have a way of really, methodically going through the conversation, but yet it all ties together. And again, just love watching you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's been fun. I do it as time allows, and I try to find interesting head coaches, and I'd like to get more players on. If I had more time, I'd figure out how to be more creative with who my guests are. But if you go to just my Twitter homepage, which is at IWHoopsCom, or just look for Bob Quillman.
I think everyone who's watching the show knows your Twitter account.
I've got the
We had a
link
great
up
one with
top.
Ryan.
Yeah,
The one with Ryan was excellent.
yeah, thank you. I've got the link to the homepage up there. You can find them all. I've had Ryan Terrell on twice, once right after last season, once maybe a month ago to talk about his current season in the G League. It's funny, if I go to my page and I hit like analytics and I look for the most watched QCast, every single one of them involves a Yeshiva tie.
I do notice. I always read like Brady. You have like you put down like how at what point the conversation, and you always try to. I always see like you had the Rochester's coach in. You talked to the Yeshiva game. Why not? It brought me in just to hear that.
Well,
we love it.
Yeah, so there's people that give me grief about tweeting funny things and fun things and with you guys, and what I tell them is, like, I don't care what you think. Like I've become
You're the chief rabbi. You're the chief rabbi.
Exactly. I've become friends with a whole bunch of people from Yeshiva. The Yeshiva Illinois Wesleyan series was one of the best things I've ever been involved in, period. And what I always tell people, why wouldn't I do? These are the people that interact with me the most. So, if you want me to
Pool C.
Yeah, Pool C. Do you guys know about Pool C and how
we're getting it? That right, where we just won a few games. We had a tough schedule. Why not? Yeah.
Yeah, but that's kind of what I like to tell people is like, hey, you want me to just go like leave the Yeshiva thing in the past and just tweet about the other Division III schools. Just unfollow me and go away. That's what I'd say is I'm going to do what I want, and I've enjoyed the relationship with Yeshiva and will continue to do so.
I like the exposure. I like how we branched out early in the season because obviously flop calls and other things like referees became a part of this. But speaking of grief, actually the most mentioned of your name so far this week are all the texts and other things I've gotten saying, I don't know, there's a guy who seems to have a name that could have been recruited by Yeshiva, but ended up at Wesleyan this week. Ofri, is there anything you want to like? Everyone keeps asking me like,
you
Bob
guys
has to be involved. Tell me what's going on.
You guys snooze, you lose. I mean, look, if you're going to let these Jewish kids come visit Illinois Wesleyan, we might beat you in a game with some. You're right.
I was going to say, look, if you're going to start recruiting, some of our guys possibly, or if guys we're going after, we have to maybe talk about the Chief Rabbi title. Maybe
I've been to Yavna. I've been to Yavna.
I wanted to ask you about that
Shabbos. Like, tell us. You gotta share with us.
Yeah. So the short version, real quick on Ofri is real simple thing is a guy that is connected with the Yavna program sent me a note and just said someone at a really high level in D3 needs to recruit this Ofri kid. And I just sent his name along, and the next thing you know, I heard that he was going to visit, and he did. I don't know where he's going to go to school, but he's a really good kid and he's a good player.
I agree. I've seen him. I've seen him for a while. Yeah, he's great.
He's a good player, and he's got some really good schools on him. So we'll see how it plays out. But it would be the cool part of that story. I'll just close the loop is that the first time that kid ever heard of Illinois Wesleyan was watching the Yeshiva game last year with his father as Yeshiva supporters, right? They tuned in that night to watch Yeshiva play. The kid otherwise would have not ever heard of Illinois Wesleyan, right? And so when Illinois Wesleyan contacted him to say, would you be interested in going to school here and visiting? And he's like, I'm really interested. Like, I've seen you guys play. You're really good. So the Shabbos story is a really cool one. I was asked to go to Yavna Academy And what was really neat was it was what I call like the high school version of what happened with Yeshiva and Illinois Wesleyan. There was a school from Austin, Texas, the Austin area Christian school that played Yavna in the state tournament about 3 years ago, I think, right before COVID. And the two teams kind of had a lot of camaraderie after the game, and they decided they were going to play a game this year here in Dallas. And the coaches on both teams asked me to come because they said it was so parallel to the Illinois Wesleyan Yeshiva thing. So I went there. One of the biggest honors of my life. I mean, I was there at the lunch all day. I mean, it was like a 5-hour thing, right? Where we ate and we shared stories, and there were speakers, and it was just a really cool thing to watch the kids interact with each other. And then they played a game that night. They played a basketball game and competed their tails off, and Yavna won. And those two teams, they could meet down the road. But all of that just because of this Yeshiva Illinois Wesleyan thing, to be able to be part of that was pretty incredible.
How's the challenge though?
You know, it was good. I'm 2 for 2 on it. Honestly, like I tweeted, I don't know how you would eat that and then play basketball that night.
We don't either. We don't play so well.
We don't either. We have a challenge here.
Nobody had that thought, 15 years ago. I would have appreciated that. Or not scheduling Saturday night games, but you cannot. It can't.
Yeah.
It's just impossible.
Now when I watch you guys in like these Saturday night games where you guys are a step slow and you're playing terrible, like I just want to tell people, like, I get it now. I understand because
First
you
half,
see
second
what's
half.
on this buffet. It's not conducive to basketball at all.
It's
But
definitely.
I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, when you think about that, right? Even both parts, right? Meaning, and that's what we talked about, right? You talked about it. We've talked about it here in terms of just the reactions, right? People had to just being introduced on both sides, right? Like, I think, once you widen your lens, right, as a human being, right, you can't unwiden that lens, right? You're starting to see things and you appreciate things and develop those relationships. And to think of a kid being exposed to something, and now hopefully his trajectory, whether it's basketball and beyond, is going to be set, in a certain direction because of that experience. And then you have on the other side relationships that keep building and keep, right, the momentum and keep spiraling in that sense. It's unreal, sort of what you planting a seed in that way can bring.
It's good for me. What's cool is how it impacts these young men that are growing up. Is I grew up in Chicago, where it just the neighborhoods are very segmented. I grew up in an all white neighborhood, and I knew what street that I would cross where it would turn into a black neighborhood and a Hispanic neighborhood, and that's Chicago. And so I guess what I'm saying is I grew up with all people that looked like me, and they were all Catholic like me. And I was kind of an outcast because I wasn't 100% Irish. I was only 50%. My mom's 100% Irish. My dad's German.
You have like 2% Jewish blood also.
I do. That's what the thing said. So it's legit. But, for me, I was lucky to go to a high school that actually had a lot of diversity from a standpoint of, like, there were a lot of Black kids there, a lot of Hispanic kids, and playing sports in high school, that was good for me to learn other things just outside my little bubble. And I didn't know a single Jewish kid growing up, 1 or 2 in college, but I wish, I wish I would have learned, like, not had to learn all this stuff from all of you guys. Like, I feel like an idiot, the things that I didn't understand, and the anti-Semitism that you guys have, that you guys go through, and just, I really didn't have a huge idea about it just because I wasn't around it. So, like, I'm glad that these kids that are being exposed to that stuff now grow up in a world where they are aware of it and think about it.
Yeah, it's not one-sided. I think for anybody, right, and any whether it's a single group, right, or a collective, right, that's going through something, right, all they want, right, is to be seen and heard, in the sense of, right, I can relate to what's going on, even right, the empathy that happens. So it is really, that's important. And even talking to some of the players, right, and some of the other folks not part of the Jewish community, not part of the YU team, last year was just eye-opening up, for us in that sense. So
absolutely,
again, it's 100% reciprocated.
Yeah.
I grew up playing ball with everybody, so I've seen the power of sport. I grew up in where there was only 1 or 2 Jewish schools, and most of the people we played were all mixed. We lived in a neighborhood in Miami that was like that, but it's just a tremendous experience. And that's, that's why I love what the yeshiva kids are going through, because many of them grew up, definitely the kids who grew up in this area sometimes don't play against anybody outside of the yeshiva league.
No.
They only play Jewish ball players, right? Not like the Yavna experience or others. So they really don't have that, and they don't, everyone knows what you don't know. Sometimes you either fear or just don't have a relationship with. So just the exposure is so much different.
Yeah, that's the cool thing is I think you guys in this last couple of years in the schedule that Elliot's now playing, like you're definitely out of that bubble that I feel like you were in, and now you're playing all these great programs. You're playing great programs, and so your guys are getting exposure in the non-conference to playing great teams. Like what you played Amherst this year, you played Tufts, you played Wesleyan,
Mary Washington,
NYU, Mary like all
St.
kinds
Joe's,
of good
yeah.
programs. You played us. So I feel like that's going to really help your program.
Absolutely.
And that it helps your guys see more than a bad non-conference schedule and then the Skyline. Now you know that what you're marching towards when you win the Skyline the next time, whether that's this year or next year, when you win the Skyline, you get in the tournament, that what's in the tournament looks different than the Skyline. And I know you played those 2 games a few years ago and played extremely well, rolled over people the year that it was shut down. But the step beyond that looks different too. That Randolph-Macon weekend was going to look different. And you guys know what teams like Wisconsin Oshkosh look like now. And so playing the schedule you're playing all of a sudden sets you up, I think, to take a big jump as a program.
And it helps us with Skyline.
Even last year it looked different.
Yeah. No, I think it helps us with Skyline. We're playing
Absolutely
with 80% rookies, whatever the number is, and they're doing as well. Like we just won our we're in the 8th consecutive year, which is coincided with when Elliot came, obviously, but 8 consecutive year we're making the Skyline playoffs. We're in line to be the number 1 seed potentially if we do well.
Which would be huge, right?
Huge.
That would mean you would host the whole
we'd
way.
host. And like no one, and also
and
just
a
like
whole new reset.
Right. And
Look at how many guys we don't have from last
8th
year.
year
Right?
we've done this, and like no one. It's just like at this point, it's just like no one even batted an eye that we were in the Skyline playoffs. When back in the day, like when we were all in, like it would have been a big deal to be there. And
the great thing is that you guys have kind of weathered the storm this season. You went through the Zevi lull. He went through that period of time where he did not look like himself, and he looked like he was out of shape, or he was always gassed, and whatever happened there for about a month. But now you have him back, right? So he's back, and then you have Oren, who's leading the country in 3-point percentage. I think Zevi is near the top in 3-point makes per game. So
for sure,
in the 3-point category, statistically, you have 2 guys way at the top. And then, Max is just such a difference maker. He's so quick, and no one can really stay in front of him. And so when you can create then for your shooters, I think you can win the Skyline. There's especially if you're the 1 seed, I would say you're the favorite. I would favor.
We got to play defense. We got to stop middle.
Rebound. We want to rebound a little bit at Yeshiva moving forward.
We're boxing out.
Right?
Even
Vitesh got 7 rebounds tonight, so we're
right. Oren's our leading rebounder. I have to switch gears because I want to make sure we get to cover this. I'm not sure because I know there were games that were coinciding, but have you been able to either last Saturday night or otherwise take in some Motor City Cruise?
I've watched
games
this,
and sort of your thoughts there.
Yeah, this season I've watched in the last 2 weeks or so, IW games and other D3 games have conflicted, but I've watched probably parts of 12. I don't know how many games the Motor City Cruiser plays. I bet I've seen parts of all but like 5 games. And so my takeaway is this: is first, it's a huge jump from Division 3 to the G League. That's an enormous jump. And I think Ryan has made the jump really well. Like when he gets in there, he doesn't look out of place at all. He looks like a big wing that he is. He looks great with the ball in his hands. He shoots it well. I don't know if you extrapolate out his numbers over the course of 40 minutes what they look like, but they have to be phenomenal. I think to me it's been frustrating as a Ryan Terrell fan I watch the Motor City Cruise, and a lot of times they go stretches where they can't score. And I think to myself, well, one of your most gifted scorers sitting on the bench over there, right? Like what wouldn't you want to try that a little bit more? So I've been frustrated as minutes. I thought there was a little period of time where he was playing a lot more. Kind of goes like a roller coaster. But I think if they stick with Ryan and they commit to playing him more, I think that like next year, if you put him out there in the G League and you let him play, I think he could be a really good player in that league. Now, I've said this, I'm still not 100% sold on the next level. That's tell you what, that jump from the G League to the NBA is bigger than the one he just made, in my opinion.
Sure.
So like,
Yeah.
I'm not yet there with he can make it to the NBA. I hope he can, but think he has to get a lot better than to get to the next level, because that's some serious business there.
Yeah, and the interesting thing, and it's great. It's really appreciate that perspective. There are two parts to this, right? For coming from at least my perspective. I know we talked about this a little bit before you jumped on. I was at the game Saturday night, right? So because and it was a fun weekend, turned into a fun weekend, at least for me.
It
And for
looked
many others,
awesome.
because I'm in Jersey, and I was worried about games at 7, Sabbath ends around 6:05, 6:10. I'm worried about getting there in time. So I got to spend Sabbath in a community that I've never really spent time in. So I was in the West Hempstead community near Long Island, and got to spend a great weekend, even though it was like negative, like 5 degrees, or it was pretty cold. But we got out there, and I was like, okay, we got to get out there. We got to get out there. We'll try to be a little bit early. And I was like, I got there, and the lines. I mean, I don't know if the Long Island Nets have ever seen lines at their at their piece. It's just it's unreal. It was the amount of people. I'm telling you, had to be probably 800 to 1,000 people who just wouldn't have been there otherwise. And it was amazing to see the community. And when I say the community, I mean multiple communities, right? Like there were all, like, even within our own community, there
Absolutely.
were Sephardic Jews, there were Ashkenazi Jews, there were irreligious Jews, there were just the amount of people that were coming out in support. It happened to turn into a really great game. I think Coach realized, obviously, what kind of night it was. And I think he played him significant minutes, which was really great to see also. I still think I feel like Ryan is very much, he talked about this in the lost Ryan tapes that unfortunately, technology took away from us when we had Ryan on a little bit earlier in the year, where he was saying the transition, right, between playing team ball, right, and then sometimes it really not being about team ball.
It's a weird place to be.
He belongs out there.
It's a weird, like, when I watch those games, it's strange, because I'm used to watching him play in this elite offensive system where everyone shares it. Like you guys set records for points and field goal percentages and assists. And in that league, think about it, just common sense. Everyone in that league is trying to prove themselves to get to the next league. So what happens is, you pass it to a guy, and I'm not saying the guy's doing anything wrong, but that guy generally shoots. There's not a lot of ball movement. There's not a lot of offense being run.
No.
And
nor defense.
Right. And I think Ryan, like, when he gets in there, what I feel like he's trying to play real basketball. He's trying to play Ryan Terrell basketball
the right way.
Yeah. He gets it. He takes a dribble. He kicks it, and you'll see sometimes, like, he'll be then left at a wing with his hands up like this, waiting for the ball back, and it never comes. So I get it, but it is bizarre to watch him play in that kind of thing. I'll also say this, and you guys know this better than me, but what he's doing, how he's handling this, he's uniquely gifted as a young man with everything he has on his shoulders and the way he handles this. You could have a kid with another personality who would not be well suited to deal with this pressure. Like, I think most kids his age probably wouldn't be great at this. He's great at this. Like, he is just so good with all those kids that come to the games and signing autographs. They've put him front,
every community,
everywhere he goes. He is in the spotlight. And look, some of these games, like, he's played like 4 minutes, and then afterwards, like, there's a line of 300 people that want to talk to him, and he puts a smile on his face. So I'm just really amazed by him as a person. And I know how proud you guys are as Yeshiva fans, because he's unbelievable.
Yeah,
And
I'll
he's
give big shouts to Brad and Laurel, right? As part of that, right? They, and again, we get to spend a lot of time with Jack.
and Jack. We'll give shout to Jack too. Yeah, I'm sure.
love Jack.
We love it. We love it too. But that's the thing that blew me away. I had the privilege to be, just because it happened to be Christmas week and schools were off, and I was able to take my daughter down to DC the night he scored 21 points. It was just myself, my daughter, and the lifers, Morty and Gabe were out there, and a couple other people, and just again, it doesn't make a difference whether there's 40 people, 400 people, right, 800 people, or 3 people. The way in which he acts, the way in which he has time for people, the way in which he takes time with younger kids, and he's different with kids and adults. Like, his patience is just off the charts. I completely, like, that's what blows away. I think you mentioned it, right? Even after the IWU game 2 years ago, right?
The Farmingdale game.
Or being able
After that big loss, we were shocked. He was literally 10 seconds later. He was
signing autographs when the buzzer
taking
sounded.
pictures.
The thing that impresses me about like his parents, I'll give you a great story that Illinois Wesleyan parents still, every time I come up there, someone ends up talking about this, is the Lambesis couldn't be at that game. I can't remember if it was Pete's dad or mom or both, but his mom definitely wasn't. And buzzer sounded, this heartbreaking loss, there at the Max Stern. And Ryan's mom, Laurel, comes and finds Pete's or finds some IW parents and says, I want to meet Pete's mom. I want to, shake her hand, give her a hug. And one of the moms said, well, she wasn't able to make the trip. And so she said, could you call her? And so what they did is they did a video. So someone just got their phone out and she recorded like this 60-second heartfelt video, which someone always ends up playing, which is like, hey, I'm Ryan's mom and your Peter is special and blah, blah, blah. And it, like, that's just who Ryan's parents are. That's who, like, and so that's where Ryan gets this stuff. His like perspective on life is not just, I remember when the Illinois Western Yeshiva game ended, and obviously that was a huge deal. He came out of the locker room and he's taking pictures. Like, our guys wanted pictures with him, like he was a celebrity. And so I have all these pictures of Ryan with our guys, and he couldn't have been just more, like, imagine how much inside he must have been bummed out. That 50-game winning streak ended. He had all this pressure on him to win that game. So I just can't say enough things about him as a person. And I hope that he makes his way up there. Like, if he can make, it'd be the biggest story I can think of. Like, if he were to make the jump, it'd be cool.
The beautiful thing is that, I think what we've all seen is that if he makes his way up there, yeah, it's going to take, some potentially outside factors as well. But the one thing he's never been afraid of is the work. And that's what, it's just like a lot of pride. What I tell even my kids, right, which is, it's not like,
absolutely,
don't look and see like this. Nothing's been handed. Like,
I remember him from high school.
Yeah, year one, high school. He was at Sarachek. I remember watching him. That's when I was in YU. He was like a tooth. Like, he was very skinny.
Very skinny.
Like he was good, and like he was good, whatever. But like everyone was like, oh yeah, he could dunk, whatever. But like he was really skinny. Now he's like he does the work. He puts in the work. Yeah.
But we remember every year at YU, he did add something to his game, whether it was the post, whether it was the 3-pointers, whether it was the handling, like whether it was muscle. Every year we saw the improvement that he put in over the summer in the off season. And even now, after coming off an injury, and the whole pre-draft stuff and coming to the G League, you can still see improvements that he made.
He's gotten bigger. He's gotten bigger for sure. And defensively, he's moving better, than I think he did in college. And he's guarding guys that were Division I All-Americans. Yeah, he's boxing out. I thought it was funny. I was watching his first ever game.
Called for
His first foul ever in professional basketball was when he was boxing out.
Like a legit box out. It was a legit box.
It was a good box out. He got called for a foul, and I just thought that's a pretty fitting way to start this off, I thought.
That's how right? It's not, there are other things running the world. Like, it's
that's right.
It works out that way. It's just, I remember that was fantastic. That was fantastic. So I know before we let you go, we're actually going to be setting a first here at Balabatin. We're actually going to be talking to the playoff-bound women's basketball team from
Great.
YU. Hopefully in a few minutes as they finish up their practice. But can you talk just about like what are you looking for towards the end of this season? Like what are you hoping? Is there anything about what's coming in the next few weeks, right? That you want fans to be
best time of the year. Yeah, the next few weeks. So the best time of the year is now. We have the march up to teams to teams getting in their conference tournaments, which is a big deal because in this year of parity, in all of these leagues, anything can happen. Like in the WIAC, would it be crazy if Eau Claire won it? Or in the CCIW, if, whoever, Elmhurst, Illinois Wesleyan, whoever won it? No, it wouldn't be crazy. So then you get in the tournament, and we've got a year where anyone can beat anyone. I gave you some scores earlier just from our team playing great teams close. I would just say like kind of strap it down. It's going to be wild. And every night now, the rest of the way, there are big games on. So I just hope everyone takes the time to enjoy it, watch as many games as you can. Obviously, I'll be watching you guys and rooting for you guys. I think I'm such an Elliott fan. And if he were to be able to get this done this year with this young group,
It's great. Yeah.
and I'll say the same thing about you. If you guys get in the tournament, imagine you're in the bracket and you see like, oh, we got paired with Yeshiva. And I got to deal with, Zevi and all these, like, I think that would be a nightmare matchup for somebody. So it's going to be fun. And I hope you guys enjoy the ride.
There's something special, by the way, about
man.
flying under the radar. Sometimes if you can get there, right?
I don't think you guys can possibly anymore be under the radar. You're the most over the radar.
Are we the Gonzaga of D3 now? Is that what's happened?
No.
Is that what we've
Bob,
turned
to be
into?
fair, a lot of people jumped off the bandwagon after last year because they were in it for the winning streak.
That's
and
true.
The Ryans and the Gabes, and we had to win them back last year. And I really hope we're doing so. I mean, obviously, just among us, we're big fans. But I'm telling you, just they don't know all these guys' names. Okay, maybe they know Zevi's name, Max, whatever. But a lot of these guys, I think, actually are flying under the radar, and that could work
Stop
to our advantage.
tweeting about
us
them.
coming to the.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is
What's
you
that?
guys, like anyone that pays attention, knows that you have players, but there's a lot of people that thought that when your class last year graduated, that the Yeshiva story was ending. And it was funny. I had to go back and show people that before Ryan Terrell came, Yeshiva was good. Like Elliott already had the program built, and then the program elevated. So I would think that we're on a trajectory now that looks like this the next few years. And there's a bunch of people though that definitely nationally that jumped off the wagon and think you're going to stink now for forever. And so this year, if you could win the Skyline, if you could
It'll help
win and
recruiting.
get in, that would be phenomenal.
Yeah. And if you know any 6'8" nice Jewish kids, please, we could use.
We got no problem finding 6'8" kids at Illinois Wesleyan.
I know, and yeah,
we need Zevi. We could use a Zevi. So if you guys can help us out on that, but we got all.
I'll look out for you. If we can make a deal. I know. Yeah.
Hey Bob, how's Ofek doing? Are you in touch with Ofek?
Ofek and I stay in touch pretty regularly. He's had a great year over there. He really has. He's had a great year and he's had a blast. So I haven't talked to him in about a week or so, but he sends me like the link for his games. So I always go back and watch his games. I always ask, can I tweet this link out so people can watch? He's like, no, I can only send to a person or two. So like I've watched almost all his games and he's playing really well.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to talking with you. We look forward to seeing you when we both arrive, in Indianapolis or outside in Indiana, like wherever we're going for the Final Four this year. I know you'll be there anyway, probably.
Absolutely.
Regardless, but
good luck to you guys
for coming on. Ari still owes you a dinner date.
I will take that.
I promise.
Well, guys,
we'll talk real soon.
I appreciate you guys having me on. It's a pleasure, and I'm glad you guys are covering the women so much. They've been awesome, and we'll talk soon, guys. Enjoy the run.
Thank you so much. Have a great one. Take care. Bye.
Thank you.
Nice.
Right,
okay.
That was good. I'm going to bounce, guys. It's been a pleasure, but good luck with the Lady Max.
We'll see you soon.
Hey, not to have a great night.
Yeah.
Good luck.
We're gonna unmute you here. We are excited to talk YU women's basketball. I've been told I can no longer, like, I get yelled at all the time. I can no longer call you guys the Lady Max. So what do you prefer to be? What do you prefer to be called?
I think that Lady Max is really nice. Why is that not allowed?
I'm a big fan. That was always here, and I know we have. I can have both Danielas on right now, and maybe a couple others. Did practice? Are you guys just getting back after practice?
Yeah, we're just getting back now. It's crazy.
Well, look
Hi,
who it is.
Ellie.
Hi.
I knew I recognized you from somewhere. How's it
Ellie
going,
and Daniela
girl?
have a non-basketball relationship, so Ellie definitely wanted to come and say hi. But now, Ellie, you're on the air.
Hey, cutie.
Oh, hi.
So
Bye.
this is a pleasure. This is a pleasure,
Yeah, thanks for
Daniela
having us.
and Daniela. We're gonna have to figure out what to do, like, as we sort of gauge the questions. But we're really excited.
The team
Really
calls me
excited.
Bess, if you want to call me Bess.
Bess.
There
All
we
right,
go.
we got Bess. Any cool nicknames? D Roth. What do we got?
I mean, you can call me that, but my teammates call me Dan.
Daniela. All right, so we got you're the we got the queen of rebounds on one side. We got triple double on the left. Here over it's going to be awesome. We just got off with one of our favorite people, and hopefully, Mayor will come back and change the bottom of the but we're Bob Quillman from IWU, who you guys may or may not know, but the Chief Rabbi of New York after Yeshiva lost to Illinois Wesleyan, was on just before, and we've actually been talking women's basketball for a while, or at least listening to the D3 pundits talk women's basketball. Do you guys pay attention at all to, like, outside of your world and the Skyline world, or is this just more of a focus on us kind of thing?
I used to follow basketball very legitly, but it's very hard for me now with school and everything to keep up with other things.
I was gonna say
But we're
honestly,
very
same. We
Yeah.
like to see highlights, and trying to implement that into our game, but we don't have time to. At least I don't have time to watch the other games.
We follow our own league very well. We know the players in our league, and the good teams and things like that.
There's some really talented teams in Skyline. I mean, for people who haven't been watching, I mean,
Yeah.
it's not, it's I remember back when I was playing. I mean, it's always been talent, but there are teams there, and I'm not sure if they're gonna be as we have more, more folks. I love this. We're gonna end up with a starting five by the end of this conversation. More as more folks jump in, this is what we want. But I think the Skyline is really talented. I wanted to talk to you guys as Yuval joins us. Hopefully we'll get the, I don't know, maybe we'll get the player of the week, or honor roll player. She'll join as well. We'll get Shy to come in, but you guys really appreciate coming on. And Ariel here with me. He'll throw it out. Ariel, I know we have a ton of questions, and really excited to talk just like what the season's been like. But what do you want to throw out first?
I guess like this is, it sounds like it may be a historic season. You guys are playing really well. Definitely we're paying attention. And just guess, what's it like? Why women have had talented players before. What is about this group that it's coming together, and hopefully you'll be in the Skyline playoffs. What do you think it is? I guess.
I think for our team, we've been playing together for 2-3 years now, so we're finally have our team chemistry. And then for this season, we got a few new players, and they really helped us elevate to the next level. So I think that's what's helping us make this season different than every other season.
I think we also have like a fight. Like everyone on our team kind of wants to change the program and impact the program. Like I think for every girl on our team, it's more than just like playing a game that they love. Like I think we want to like kind of change the mentality of women's sports at Stern, and just like in general at YU for girls sports.
What do you have you seen that happen? I mean, like what do you look for to see some of that impact? And I know it's not it's not an immediate thing, right? Sometimes it's gradual. Sometimes it honestly, it takes winning, right? It takes doing things that haven't been done before, right? Like making the playoffs for the first time in Skyline history. But what have you seen that has shown you, collectively through your times, things pointing in the right direction, even outside, right? Like you see that impact outside of your own team. Anybody feeling anything? Have you guys, I know we got Shy all here, but what do you guys see? Like what's exciting about what's growing? But go ahead.
Oh, I think just like the players in our team like all come with like a competitive mentality, and can't speak for other teams, but I'm really happy that our team has that competitive mentality, because it kind of like infuses itself into the program, and it shows itself to other people who are looking at Stern from high school, things like that. So I think that that's definitely something that's changed, from what I could see.
Also, it starts in practice. Like, we don't take it easy on each other in practice because other teams won't take it easy on us.
I was gonna say, I'm hearing
So-
when I hear Daniela, when I hear Best talk, I'm like, oh, so you're saying, like, I think back to like playing days, and I'm like, oh, so you're saying there are fights in practice, like that. That's what that's what I'm hearing. I'm like we're getting
Oh my
each other's
God,
face in
today,
practice.
though.
It's like,
I
which is,
also,
by the way, the
I
best.
also
I used to
think,
love those practices.
I also think that we recognize that this season we have a great team, probably the best team that YU has ever had. And we come to every game, and we tell the players, we tell each other, you have to play this game like it's your last game, like it's the championship game. So we really level up our game against every team, no matter if it's a good team, bad team. We try to play our best and to share the ball, to play with each other. We're so committed to the team.
Come a little closer.
We are so committed to the team. It's like every day we have practice, and we see each other every day, and we become like a family, I think. Yeah. And we really want to do it. Like, we have a goal, and we work together we really want to make it to the playoff. We work so hard, and we support each other. I think it's one of the keys in our team that everyone wants the best for this team. Like, everyone is so supportive. We love each other, we support each other, and I don't think we have, like, every team has this dynamic. It's really unique.
That's unbelievable. I'm gonna go, and I think that's incredible. Obviously, teams that play for each other, right? So that not everyone's gonna have it on every night, right? But you're always trying to pick, right? It's next person up, you're trying to pick each other up. What I want to ask from who are the, like, when it's not going well, right, on the team, who do you guys look to? Not necessarily from a scoring standpoint, but from like a mentality standpoint, right? Who's going to sort of remind you of where you wanted to be that night? Like, who do you guys look to on the team?
I wouldn't say there's one player in particular, but I think it depends on the night. And also, we can all look to each other because we all know each other so well that someone can read if your facial expressions are off. So that also just shows how close our team and how good the chemistry is, that on any given night, it could be any player. It doesn't matter if it's a senior, it doesn't matter if it's a sophomore or a freshman, it's all together.
I think
I agree.
we also like know that, like, our success depends if the whole team plays good. It's not only on one player. So we don't care about, we just want, like, if Danny has a good game, I feel like I had a good game. It's like we want everyone to succeed. I agree with everyone. I think there's no one player that I just go and tell her about the game. But I would say that my first instinct, because I'm Israeli and she's Israeli, just like go to her. We discussed in Hebrew, so the other team won't understand. Actually, we made the whole team speak Hebrew, yeah. The game. And the other team freaking out. They were like, it's not fair that you guys speak in another language. Yeah, it's funny because, like,
Gotta use it to your advantage, yeah, for sure.
And like a few of the.
You can say it in Hebrew, by the way. We're a multidimensional.
I don't know if I could.
I'll translate for you.
I mean, you can
I
see
could try.
the Bachelor talks to another player on the team in Hebrew, even though
My broken Hebrew.
you're
very
broken
bad.
Hebrew, but you do it, and it's so nice to see. Like, it's you really feel like it's the team. Like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I hate, we're not going to bust this up at all, but I want to, before I let him in, I want to just give you I feel like there's a warning that's needed. We have Jack Terrell, who's Ryan Terrell's brother, but I don't know if you've ever experienced Jack. He gets a little excitable.
Yeah.
So it's going to be fun.
You've been warned, yeah.
I just want to, like, it comes with a disclaimer as we jump in, but I want to talk, as we let him in, I want to talk game plan. Like, what is, because we've talked at length about the YU men's basketball team and about the motion and about game planning and what the game plan for an offense and defense. What does it look like? When you practice, is it mostly, at this point of the season, obviously it's probably not drills anymore, what is that game plan? Do you game plan for every opponent? Do you work on certain things? Is it defense more than offense? Like what is the focus, as you can give people an idea of like what practice is like and how you prep for games? And welcome, Jack.
I think, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, our coach, he's incredible. He kind of sets up the other team's defense against our starting five so that we're actually playing against like a simulated defense. And same for offense. Like let's say our starting five is playing defense on a certain offense, like he simulates that for us. So we kind of just like have a feeling about what the offense or defense feels like what the opponent feels like before we even get into the game, which is a big part of us setting up and getting ready for the game. And I also think like just like when our team gets really competitive, like we play well, we like push each other, and like when we have competitive practices, just like really competitive drills or just like drills where we're like posting up on each other and butting each other up, like those are the practices that really get us prepared for our games, I think.
Also, I think that if you look back, like last year or 2 years ago, we're not the same team. It's like we always improve, and I guess it starts with the coach. When he got here, he was like, he actually believed in us, and that's really important because after that, like we just keep getting better and better each year.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we definitely see it. And I think we see that with all, a lot of the programs. We see that with, the men's program. We've seen it. It's slowly but surely, it starts with, getting into the Skyline playoffs. Then you get a home game, and every year you have to build on each other. The soccer program, a lot of these programs, we've seen it. It's slow. It's a slow process, but you got to just believe, and you have to have the vision that, to take the program to the next level. I just want, for me, like why I like following YU sports is just like seeing, different Jews come together, who have Jewish pride playing really well. I guess, what's it like representing not just, your school, but also just playing, as a team of, Jews? What's that like? What's that experience like?
I think it's a Kiddush Hashem, honestly. Like every time we get out there, like these schools probably don't interact with Jews so much, and we kind of get to be that influence for them. Like I think we're very nice and friendly on the court and kind. We're obviously competitive as well, but I think that's like a huge, that's a big role that every one of us play, is being a Kiddush Hashem.
Yeah, especially because if we knock down another player on the court, we're the first one there to help them up. Like we get there before there are other teammates there. So that just shows that we as Jews, we just care about our fellow people. And also, it also means a lot that we know that the next generation of Jewish basketball players are watching us, and they're coming to our practices to see if they want to play for this program, and they're anticipating how they can take our program to the next level. So that's also a great feeling.
Also, me and Shai are very proud to represent Israel in the team. We do wish though that we had home court. We want to represent the school, YU, the Jewish people, Israel. And it's unfortunate that until today, the girls don't have a home court. We play at Baruch College, and we don't have enough fans like the boys. So for the future,
I think that'll come with success. You guys, Jack Terrell here, sorry, driving home, living life on the edge, but I couldn't miss the Lady Max and the Ball Habat. I'm very excited that you guys are on it. Very intriguing. I think that comes with success. And as you guys continue to win and dominate, I mean, one thing we know about like women's college basketball is that people are passionate about it, and we're rooting for you. I think as you continue to dominate, the fans will follow. And but I do agree. We'd love to see you guys. We'd love to see you guys at the home court. That you could call your home and have the. I'll turn my light so you can see my face.
Jack, I was just shining it. You were scaring the heck out of my children who are going to wake up. There's like a dark figure speaking. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I'm going for the Nightman thing. But yeah, that you could call them, that fans can come out and root for you guys. So I'm with you guys there. We love what you're doing.
Well, talk to me, because what would you like to see? Because I think part of this, right, and part of why I'm trying to remember. It was the game. I feel like it was an overtime game where I met you guys in the stands. I'm trying to remember. It was at
Mount St. Vincent.
Mount St. Vincent.
Vincent or Mount St. Yeah, it's Mount St. Vincent.
A lot of Mounts and Saints.
I was running. We were going to your game, and then I was running to watch my daughter play volleyball at SAR, and then I was running back for the men's game, and like timing was all off. I'm like, you guys were dominating the first half, and then somehow it ended up in overtime, but you guys pulled it out. But I think what just being able, because of the venue, because of playing right as well with the men's game following, what should the community look to do? And then I want to get into like a little bit of backstory, because again, I know we're talking about ball, but I think our fans want to get to know you guys. So we'll talk about that. But like the fandom piece, right? Like obviously not having your own home court. I still don't know why necessarily you're not able to play at YU or not, and you can't figure out the schedule piece of it. I asked that since I was in school and playing for YU, why sort of we don't work out that way. But what is that for you guys? Like what would playing in front of fans, like in the opportunity to do that, do you feel that would change the dynamic? What is it would you like to see? And then hopefully people listening can realize that there's some great ball going on, because that's really what this is about.
Yeah, I think that, like, as we all said, like all of us are here for more than a reason, like for more than just playing a sport we love. Like all of us feel like we represent the school and represent something greater, whether it's Israel, whether it's religion. Like we're very grateful to YU. They're the only school in the country that many of us could play and be Orthodox Jews. Like that's an incredible stat. And I think that it's very hard to feel like you're playing for somebody else and working so hard for somebody else when you look up and there's nobody there. And like we try our best to play for each other, like play for your team, play for the people that aren't even watching. But it definitely helps when we have fans. Like I remember last year we were playing at Mount St. Vincent, the boys were there and they were like, come on, get a steal. And I've never played such hard defense. Like it was like 4 boys just like clapping and like saying something, but like you really hear it and it really makes a difference to feel like someone's like watching you and recognizing you. And I think that's really huge and something that is very hard for our team. Like we talk about it all the time. It's very hard for our team. But like we know the support's there. But yeah.
It's also like that's what's special about the Jewish community, that like we know they're there, we know that they're watching us and they support us, but we wish it was like we could sing that like in person, like it's hard to play a game when the support is there, but you can't really see it, like, and it's so important for us. Like every game we say like look how many fans are coming today, like we're
trying to invite as much as people as
but it's hard sometimes, because sometimes like the home court is far away, and we wish it was different. But
I also don't know if people know, but last year we didn't even have Baruch. We played at Mount St. Vincent or the random
Manhattan, yeah,
like 2 hours away, no fans, no one came. And now when we have Baruch, people come, but still it's not, you don't feel that it's not the same. It's not your home court,
Last year we played and it was like we were so proud to actually play when you see the YU like above you when you play, and it was difficult when there are no fans, but we really appreciate the support.
Yeah, and sometimes when we go to the men's game, we see how many people come, and cheer for them and excited to come to the games. And we just tell ourselves, I wish it was for our team also, even though we're not the top team in the league, just come support us like you support them.
Yeah, so that's what we're gonna do coming out of this. I'm gonna see what schedule is going on. I know that we have a final Sunday game, so I know I'm targeting Saturday night on the 18th, where you guys are playing again at, I think, at Mount St. Vincent, and we're gonna get some games.
I'll be there.
I want to just hear some backstory. By the way, also, I couldn't even get my parents to come out to my YU men's games, back in whatever century that was in. But so it has changed a little bit. We do watch you on the stream, so thank God you can stream some of these games. I watch with my girls, but talk to me. I wanted to from specifically, maybe because it's a little more obvious, but Shai and you guys, like, when did you know you were going to be here? Like, how did you even get here? What's the story? I know we're asking you together, but obviously there's an individual stories there. Can you share with us, some of your sort of like your journey to even show up here?
Okay, so
In whatever language you want and whatever can be there.
so Shai's dad, he, yeah, because
and like he helps them with all the process to get here to play in the state, and so
he helped me. And then I have three options actually. I had, besides YU, I had West Virginia and college in New Jersey. So I went to a college tour with my father on May 2019. I went first to West Virginia, and it was very Christian college, middle of nowhere. I'm like, there's no way I'm going here. And then I went to New Jersey, and it was very good college. It was Division II, and also West Virginia was Division II.
Which New Jersey college?
I don't remember the name.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I went to YU, and I met with Michael Alon. He used to be the coach 3 years ago. And I really liked the fact that it's you just have your Jewish community, so people really support you and understand you. I saw the facilities, I saw that people speak Hebrew, so it was nice. And I also loved, YU is a very good school, and also like have the opportunity to live in the city. And then I convinced Shai to come. I'm like, Shai, you have to come. You have to come to the team. We want to be better.
yeah, so same as Yuval. I was also like thinking about different places, and I talked to Yuval, and she told me about her experience here, and I knew it's like a Jewish school. I also have a family here, so I knew I want to play basketball. Like I think like also Bass mentioned it once, that I really wanted to be I wanted to be a competitive team, and I don't regret making this decision. I feel like we proved ourselves that we are like deserve that, and we are a competitive team, and all of us want to win. And it's not just something that we do for fun. It's something that we really want, and we work hard for it.
This is I mean, like, again, the competitive streak. I love this part about, I like, I'm old school. I don't like when players from opposite teams shake hands and smile before the game. You can do that after the game. Like, we don't like it before the game. Competitive. I told you when I was at the Med St. Vincent game, I loved hearing, like, after the game, other players talk trash about you guys. It was like awesome. It was like the greatest. It was the greatest feeling. Go ahead, Jack.
Yeah, Yuval, you're a senior now, right?
Yeah.
You're a 4-year starter, correct?
Correct.
So where does this stack up? You've been a leading scorer and a star on the team, or have gotten accolades for many years with different faces, coaching the program, different faces, different teammates. What has been the biggest difference with this year's squad as opposed to some of the squads and cultures or whatever in years past?
Right. So I used to play with teammates that didn't believe that the team can actually win games. We came to every game and we make jokes. Oh, we're not gonna win this game. We're not gonna win this team. They're very good, and they did it for fun. Let's say they didn't. They weren't commit. They didn't believe in themselves. And then the new coach came, and he saw the team, and he's like, I have to change what's going on here. So he started to tell us, like, guys, you want to be serious, you want to make the playoffs, you want to be a good team, you have to change your game, you have to change your mentality. And since then, we have been practicing every day, every night, hard. We have new teammates. Bester came. She's also a leading scorer, very important in our team. Shai came, and we became like a little family that really wants to win every game.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Competitive nature.
Yeah.
Really quick, Yuval, shout out. Do you know Coach Omer Ginsbergsky?
Who?
Coach Omer Ginsbergsky.
No, who is that?
He runs a program I coach for, and you're his star pupil. Maybe you played for him once, but every day he's like, Yuval Nitzan, that's my player. That's my player.
That Zion?
I actually wanted, yeah, the Zion
I
basketball
love,
that
I love
coach.
Omer. I love Coach Omer. I meet with him. I see him all the time.
Oh yeah. Oh, awesome, amazing. So he always says to me, Yuval Nitzan, that's my star. That's my star. So I wanted to actually ask her if he actually coached her, but it sounds like
we'll cut that part out. We don't want him to see.
We
like
gotta cut it out. Wow.
He has no idea. We
I'm gonna
gotta
call him.
cut that part out. But
where is he from?
He's from Israel. He said, I've known Yuval Nitzan since she was 11. I've been coaching her for ages. That's my player.
Wait, can you say again his name?
He's like Omer. He's
Coach
taller
Omer.
and
Coach
tall.
O.
Omer Ginsburski.
Yeah,
Oh,
Ginsburski. Oh, I was about
Of
to.
course I know him.
I'll buy that.
Okay, I'm buying it. I'll buy the. Yeah, I was about to light him up.
We use that part, but Daniela, you're from around here, no? I may be making that up, but I think you're.
Yeah, I'm from Woodmere.
You're local. You're local.
Yeah.
You're like the Gabe Lifer of YU basketball. But talk to us. Like, did you want to play? Like, you knew you were going to play ball. Where do you go to high school?
I went to Hank High School.
Hank High School. Awesome. I just spent Shabbos in that community in West Hempstead.
It's an amazing place.
Awesome place.
Yeah, it's funny because Oren Vitesh also went to Hank, so it's funny that we're both playing for YU now. Yeah, so I always thought about YU because my family, we've all gone here. But then back in high school, as like 11th grade, 12th grade, it was happening. I realized I couldn't give up on basketball. I wasn't ready to be done with it yet. So I spoke to other coaches and I realized that I couldn't go to a different school for basketball because I'm not going to play on Friday night or obviously Shabbos. So I came here and I spoke to Coach Alone, and he was telling me that we're trying to transform the program into what we are now. And then I committed here, and then right as Pesach was happening, before I got here, the new coach, Coach William Satolskis, reached out to me and said that he's going to take over, and he told us that he's going to pick up the program and really make us to what we actually are now. So I was very happy that I came here, and I'm so thankful that.
How do you sell? And you guys probably have different experiences, but how did Coach? And we call him William. We call him Coach Bill. I know on the website it's Coach Bill. Like, what I want to give him a shout out because we haven't talked about him as much. What do you guys call him?
Coach Z. We call him Coach anything.
Z, that's what I would go with if I had to pronounce that last name. I would just say Coach Z.
Yeah. So he told us that he realizes how hard we work. So we have double curriculum in school, and then we have to go to practice every night, which is amazing. And he wants us to really be appreciated. So he's going to make practices more serious, and that's just what he did. He promised and he delivered.
I remember practices every night, 7:30 to 10, then working at the calf store, then the late night shift at Morgue Mart. Like, it was literally nonstop. This was, people. I don't think people truly understand, like, specifically at Yeshiva, right? What it takes from a time commitment to play ball. So it's pretty impressive. So Bess, why do you want to sign up? You're coming from Boston, right? If I'm not mistaken, is that where?
Yeah, I'm from Brookline, Massachusetts. I went to my Montessori school. Loved it.
I grew up in Worcester, Massachusetts, so we were there for just
really?
For a little bit.
Really didn't know the Jewish community there.
Love the restaurants in Boston. We used to drive in every once in a while to take advantage.
It's a great place. I love it. How did I get to YU? I kind of had like I have a long story kind of. Like I looked to play at other places. I went through the whole
45-minute version. It was just cut it down to the 45-minute version.
I could say it in 5 even.
I'm just kidding. Go. It's your floor.
I in high school started going through the scouting process. I played for an AAU team, and I would travel with my AAU team, just like getting more exposed to college coaches, things like that. I would play these like big tournaments, and I would spend my summers like going to elite camps and things like that. And I really wanted to play like the most competitive basketball I could play. And got pretty far with certain, but at the end of the day, like, it came down to Saturday, Shabbat, and told them I wouldn't really compromise on, so they kind of like dropped me, I say. And YU is kind of the only place in the country, trust me, everywhere, that I could play competitive basketball. And I'm grateful that I can, but so yeah, like after my last like option kind of fell through, I reached out to me, and I actually visited while really convincing. And
We're losing you a little bit on the connection. Apologies.
oh,
If you go off video, I think maybe we'll be able to hear you a little bit more. I think we got you most of the time. And then you can go back on. And you're back. And then you're gone. We can hear you a little bit. I don't know if it's just me, but if
can you guys hear anything I said?
We did. We heard a lot. We heard that YU was your last chance. No, you're you know.
I actually saw on Last Chance U they had something with Daniela Bressler. It was a very interesting episode.
Last Chance
Oh,
U.
what?
On Last Chance U.
No, not like that. And I came and I watched one of the team like while ball was there, and I was like, I could play with this girl. Like, she's competitive. She has a chip on her shoulder, and I was like, I could play with this girl. And because I can't play not competitive basketball. It's my life. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, this girl could push me in practice. Like, I just need that. So I decided to come. I talked to Coach Z, and he told me that he was changing the program, which made me want to come even more. And I told him that all I would need from him is to hold us to high standard and hold me to high standard and expect a lot from us. And that's what he's done every day since. So I'm very grateful to him, and I'm very grateful for YU for being like a savior for all like women's like teams everywhere, to like give us the opportunity to play competitive sports and still be like religious Jews. And yeah, I'm very happy that I'm here. I'm really happy that our team is succeeding and playing competitively. I'm very grateful for the girls. They're all so nice and like a really good time. And I'm very happy with my decision. Like, very, very happy.
Oh, sorry. Did you also know that you were planning on getting engaged? Was that part of the basketball like commitment that was happening here? I don't know if that's what Coach Z promised. It's part of the selling routine, but like.
No, my plan was actually to wait till after college, but I guess nothing goes as planned.
Women plans and God laughed. Isn't that how it goes? It's like, you know.
Exactly.
We don't run the world. So that's again, it's just amazing. I know that I know Ellie and many others were jumping for joy when they heard that news during the season, and seeing. And you guys, I mean, has it been you now? I know you were out for some of the games, right? But now you're healthy. You've been back.
Oh yeah, I had the worst concussion for like 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, and maybe because you don't know how to turn it down in practice. But I know I'll let your teammates speak to that. Like,
you know who actually gave me the concussion? She's on this call. Take one guess.
I would, if I had to guess, I would guess Yuval, but that's just, you know.
No, it's actually Daniela.
Daniela, wow.
I was just playing defense. My arms were out, and she ran into me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As Andre the Giant says in The Princess Bride, it's not my fault for being so big and strong, right? Like, it's just, you know, it's just who I am. What am I gonna do? You know, you can't do that. So what are you guys looking forward to? I mean, listen, like we talked about, there's talent in the Skyline, right? There's a lot of talent in the Skyline. You've played these teams, and it hasn't been pretty in some of these games, right? So tell me what's going to be different, right? What do you think is going to be different in terms of how you're gelling right now as a team going into the Skyline playoffs? Like, what do you think what are we looking forward to?
I think we just like proved ourselves every time that we are able to, like, if we set our mind, then we can achieve whatever we want. And I think we proved ourselves this season and also last season that we can do it. And it was a whole process. And I don't think it's not only about this season, it's also about the next season. And after that, we are building something. It's not just we want to like win this season, we also thinking about the next season, and that's it. We want this program to continue this, like not going back. We're just moving forward.
I think also, like Shai mentioned earlier, our team does this really well, but I think if we continue to kind of just like play play towards like our teammates' skills, and like let's say Shai's having a great shooting day, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna feed Shai all day. Or like Danny's got someone on the post, oh baby, like feeding her all day. You know what I'm saying? Like I think as long as we play like with that team mentality as like when my teammate's succeeding, I'm succeeding. I think as long as we do that, like we're gonna be a successful team always. And yeah, what's funny, Shai?
I mean, you guys have a big game coming up. I mean, obviously Farmingdale tomorrow it's big because keep winning, lock down that playoff spot, right? But then you have, Manhattanville, who's probably one of the top in the conference. We like to say, pretty much as you said before, right? Every game is almost a road game for you guys, right? In the sense that it doesn't, like, there's not that sort of, Phil home that is on Super Bowl Sunday at the same time as the Super Bowl. So that's just interesting. Thank God Brady left the Patriots and you don't have to worry about it. Best, like, thank God you don't have to worry about caring about the game. But you guys you're gonna see it as it happened. But then coming in Skyline playoffs, like are God willing only less than 2 weeks away. We're gonna try to get that rally. We're gonna rally the fans out. We're gonna see it come out. We're gonna rally out for Saturday night. We gotta push. I agree with you guys. Like people don't understand how good the ball is. And it's really good ball. I'll tell you, I have the privilege of volunteering the youth basketball, or working with youth basketball, both girls and boys, in the New Jersey area, and there are kids from all over, the area that come out. I am just blown away. I mean, there are kids from 2nd grade all the way to 8th grade in the program that I'm with. The level of girls basketball that's being played is just tremendous, and levels of men's basketball, like the same thing. They're starting really young, and there are kids who are playing all year round. And so I hope that when they look back and they see sort of what you guys are accomplishing, you can continue to build on that, because the talent pipeline is there, not just from here, but from all around, an international flavor. Who's the funniest person on this team, by the way?
Abigail.
She's not here, but her name is Abigail.
Abigail. All right, we gotta get Abigail. That's the next target.
Yeah.
The best parts of the team. What's one thing, like, leave us with a thought, hopefully from each of you, or something that you want the fans to know, either about YU, about your story, about women's basketball, anywhere you want to go. We want to make sure you guys get the last word.
Few days ago, new player joined the team, and she didn't know who to text to, who is the captain. She didn't know anything because she's new in the school. She just transferred, and I think she asked few people in the school, how do I contact someone from the basketball team? Like maybe 10 people, maybe more, maybe less, but no one knew the answer. No one knew where's the coach, who to text to, who to email to. Meaning, why do people don't know about the women basketball team, especially now when we are almost in the playoffs? We want to be known. We want people to hear about us. We want people to support us, to come to our games, to know that there is not only the boys team, but the only girls team that really does well this season.
Also, I think that
awesome.
We want, also for the future, we want players that want to play and like love basketball to know they have a place. And it's not, we don't do it just for fun. Like it's fun for us eventually because we love basketball, but we're so passionate about it. And it's so important for us. Like it's now it's all we talk about. Like we're really so passionate about, and we are so excited for each game. This is if someone really wants to like play good basketball and really wants, this is the program for them. Like people should recognize this team as like as something new, like something that keeps evolving and improving, and this is the place.
That's awesome. Recruiting pitch. I like it.
I'm gonna say that things in life are not always gonna come easily, but as long as you continue to work hard and push through it, you're gonna have results and it's ultimately gonna work out. So just keep pushing and hopefully everything will work out.
I want everyone to know that we're playing for you guys. You know, like we are here going to practice 2 hours every night for you guys. Like we're playing for our community, we're playing for our like backgrounds, our like Judaism, and because that's who we represent. So just know that like we're playing for you guys. And I think another thing that people should know, I've met so many very talented religious women's basketball like athletes that just don't think the Stern team is competitive, think all these things about the team. And like if you're one of those girls who's like a competitive, talented Jewish athlete, like Stern is the place for you. Like it is an incredible institution. The team, you're gonna make not just friends, you're gonna make sisters. These girls are my sisters, they're my family. And you're going to be supported beyond, you're going to be heard. People are going to fight for you. You know what I'm saying? I think people should know that. And they should know that this is a competitive team and that our team is going places, not just this year, but it's going to continue to be going places. So if you want to be part of that, you should join our team.
That's awesome. And again, we look forward to hosting you guys. You know, maybe we'll have a Shabbaton or maybe we'll have something, you know, we can't thank you enough for coming on. I have two closing questions. I want some, who's winning a 3-point contest on this team?
Shy.
Is that happening? Clear, like far on. And then let's say it does happen. It gets a little testy out there. Who do you want to have your back if a fight breaks out on the court?
Mia
Denti.
Mia would take us.
Gabri.
Also, I think the Israelis like
Come
Feisty, a little feisty, yeah.
we're tough.
I'm saying I think hopefully people saw not just continue to see the basketball, but I think the more you get to know people, right? You get to know what you guys are about, both individually and collectively. The more, I think the more that resonates, right? The more that people want to be a part of it and see it. And honestly, than the max, right? But like you go back to 10 years ago, people weren't like even 8 years ago, even the first year, people were not coming out. Having a home does help. I'll be honest, but I do think like even getting the story out there. And so we can't thank you enough for helping us start to tell this story. It's been one we wanted to tell for a long time, and hopefully we'll continue telling. And if you guys, have others again, we're happy to have, Abigail, the comedian, and some of the Mia and Gabri, the tough guys on the team. But whatever it might be, again, we really appreciate what you do, not just as fans, but as people of the community, and as someone with, 3 daughters who is constantly looking for role models. To be able to talk to and see people playing, it's a no-brainer, right? To look here first, right? Not at things that are far away or potentially unattainable. You guys are right in front. You guys are living lives that they're going to live. You guys are easy to look up to, and really just a pleasure. And the more we can connect, guys, I can't thank you enough. Daniela, thank you for rallying the troops, getting Bess and Shy and Yuval to join you here.
Thank you for having us.
No, please. You guys are an absolute pleasure, and it really is a tremendous honor and a privilege. And we're going to be watching as fans as we continue to watch you guys develop, and then hopefully going forward. I don't know, what the plans are. I think you guys get COVID bonus years like everybody else, except for maybe people who came in late and early. But again, I know that people have schools and careers to get on with, and maybe marriages and lives too that may show up, but. It's really tremendous. It's tremendous what you guys are doing and really taking so much of your time to dedicate to this. And we really do feel like we love to be a part of it. So thank you so much. And we wish you guys luck tomorrow night, and then we'll keep talking through the playoffs. Go ahead, Shay.
Thank you.
For Bess and Danny, what happens in 45 minutes?
Game day.
Game day in 45 minutes.
We got workouts.
No, we say game day in 45 minutes.
Game day. Oh, that's right. It got late.
And
Game day.
practice is so late. By the time practice is over, it's like game day in an hour.
You're counting the minutes.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's
Natan,
awesome.
we really appreciate you. We really
Thank
appreciate
you
you.
so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank
This is my
you.
pleasure. This is our pleasure. And again, really, like, this is it's incredible. You guys are just a joy and a delight. And hearing you guys talk, you guys all feel like you're way older than you actually are, in the sense of just, you have a real, again, real maturity about you guys. And I think that's just really easy to appreciate. And we can't wait to see it play out, not just on the court, but hopefully throughout. And if we can ever, again, help connect. And I'm going to push the, maybe the Max and the other fans to realize there's another great show in town, and we got to go see it.
Thank you so much.
Have an awesome game. Have a great Shabbos, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
So that was it. By the time we're out of here, I'm closing out the show by myself. So I'll just say a quick goodbye. I apologize to anyone who I couldn't manage, because we were here, covering the questions and the comments from the folks on YouTube. But guys, really enjoy. It's a pleasure to have you here. It's a pleasure to talk to everyone, and hopefully we'll see you guys on soon. Thank you, Mayor, on the ones and twos. Please like and subscribe to the show. Press those buttons here, there, and everywhere. But wow, just blown away by the conversation and the ability to talk, with the YU women's basketball team. Their story is incredible. The players are incredible, not just the ones we had on, but really it's awesome to see. And that's the world we live in, right? As a world we can appreciate all sides. There really is some great ball being played. And if you haven't been out there, get out there. Playoffs are coming, first time ever in Skyline history. It looks like we'll lock that in and communicate that when that happens, so we can celebrate with the team and enjoy their game tomorrow night. YU men play another game, I believe, Saturday night, alumni night. We didn't even get to plug it. Alumni night, Saturday night. Ball about them are going to be there. It's going to be a tremendous night out, but really awesome. Thank you guys so much. And really just a great show. Thanks to Ariel and to Moshe and Jack for jumping on during the conversation. Thanks to the guests. Thanks to Bob for coming on, and for Bess and Daniela and Yuval and Shai. Really a wonderful night. Have a good one, guys.